Yo, it was really good. It's Icon back again, and we're here to review Arrow, season 8, episode 1, the final season. I am not ready for this. I'm not ready for Arrow to end, but, here we are. So we're going to go through it, 10 episodes leading up to the crisis and after the crisis. Let's jump right into it and give Arrow his victory tour and say goodbye. So the episode starts with Oliver being on Lian-Yu. They show the classic shot of every season of him running through the forest, running through the trees. And, he's back on Lian-Yu. He does the thing where he fires the arrow, makes the explosion. The fishermen find him. He takes off the hood, and then we see that he has like the regular shave and the regular haircut. He doesn't have like the long wig, or he doesn't have the beard. So, and so right then and there, something's off. It's like, wait a minute, like this is different. They show Lian-Yu, which was destroyed on Earth 1, and on Earth 1, when we first saw Lian-Yu for the first time, it had the Slade Wilson mask on a spike that was in the sand. This time it was actually the Batman mask. So so right out the gate, we're just like, something's different. And then you find out that Oliver was transported to Earth 2, and he was dropped off on Lian-Yu. So so again, Earth 2 is different. The events from Earth 2 and Earth 1 are kind of opposite. Things that are one way on Earth 1 are pretty much the opposite on Earth 2. Whereas on Earth 1, Harrison Wells is dead. He never had a family. On Earth 2, he has a daughter, and, he's around building Star Labs. Slade Wilson was the villain on Earth 1. Batman apparently was the villain on Earth 2, which I guess Oliver's dad fought, because they said that, on an episode of The Flash, when The Flash went to Earth 2 for the first time, him and Cisco, they said that Robert Queen survived the Gambit, his son Oliver died, and Robert Queen came back to Starling City as the Green Arrow. But we didn't get to see Robert in this episode, and I don't even think he was mentioned. We find out that Adrian Chase is the Green Arrow, or the Hood of Earth 2. Maybe he was trained by Oliver's father. Maybe Robert, died. I mean, because Robert Queen was pretty old, so maybe he retired and just, because for Oliver, whereas like for us on Earth 1, it's been 5 years. For them on Earth 2, Oliver's been gone. He's been dead for 12 years. So, I mean, in 12 years' time, if his dad's been the Green Arrow for 7, 8, 12 years, then again, he trained Adrian. Maybe Adrian Chase was his Roy, and then he just passed over the mantle to him. So Oliver, he gets rescued from the island. He comes home. He sees his mom. Good to have Myra Queen back. Tommy is alive. Again, everyone who's pretty much dead on Earth 1, like, they're all alive. And again, this is where Malcolm Merlin's there. They said that Walter ended up, selling his shares of the company. And then he basically jumped out of Queen. Queen consolidated when the Gambit went down. On Earth 1, Walter basically stayed and started banging Myra. So then we find out that Malcolm Merlin is the one who pretty much stuck around, and he ended up having sexual relations with Myra. And it makes you wonder if Thea was still the daughter of both Malcolm and Myra. Was that affair something that always happened? Was she Robert and Myra's daughter, and the affair never happened? I'm going to assume that the affair did happen, only because Malcolm and Myra ended up being together, and Tommy was very protective of Thea, so maybe it's because of the blood connection. We do find out that, again, you're alive here, you're dead there. Thea Queen on Earth 2 is dead, because, as we all know, in season 1, Thea was heavily into drugs, and she was a drug addict, and on her 18th birthday she got into that car accident, and then she ended up in the hospital. But because Oliver was there, he was able to kind of like reel her in, stop, he killed one of her drug dealers, like in season 3. And he was able to keep her from OD. And along with Roy was there too. Roy was there to keep, to keep her, on the straight and narrow. But she didn't have those. I mean, we don't know what happened to Roy, but Thea didn't have those people in her life. She didn't have Oliver, she didn't have Roy, she didn't have Team Arrow protecting her. There was no John Diggle. So she yes, on her 18th birthday she overdosed, and Thea Queen is dead on Earth too. Um, Oliver took that kind of hard, but then, he was just like, what, I'm here for a mission. Let me obtain let me do the mission. I got a mission to do. So the Monitor rolls up on him, and he's just like, you must get the dwarf star alloy that only exists on this Earth. Because that was the mission. The mission was like, there was a dwarf star alloy that only exists on Earth 2, and Oliver's mission is to get it. So he goes to Merlin Queen Consolidated, or Queen Merlin, however you want to call it. He goes to the office. He sees a Felicity lookalike. You find out Curtis is the head of like the IT department. Dinah Drake is the Captain Lance of the police department. Renee, I believe Renee works for the police department as well. He either works for the police department, or Renee is Tommy's Diggle. Like, he's Tommy's like bodyguard. So Oliver, he puts on the green hood. He's like, all right, he knows where the dwarf star is. He's going to get it. He breaks into Queen Merlin Consolidated. He gets jumped by another Green Arrow. And then when him and Chase get into the, because again, the Green Arrow on Earth 2 is Adrian Chase. So the two of them get into a fight. Black Siren steps in because we find out that Laurel, because she went back to her Earth, Laurel is the hero of Starling City, and Adrian Chase works for her. So, and also Sarah, because if you look in the bunker, if you look in Laurel's bunker, there were 4 cases for 4 different costumes, and one costume was like a long jacket, and it didn't look like the jacket that Laurel, that Black Siren always wears. It looked different, but there were 4 costumes. So, you got Laurel, you got Adrian Chase. Laurel kept bringing up her sister. She kept mentioning, she brought up her sister a lot. So maybe Sarah, alive on Earth 2, she was a part of she's a part of their whole vigilante group as well. We never get to find that out. So anyway, so Oliver's on the mission. He's just like, when he tried to get the dwarf star, it was already stolen. There were police officers dead everywhere. Cops were dead. He gets into it with Chase. They're just like, they're trying to analyze to find out what happened, find out who stole the stuff. Oliver's like, I already know who stole it. It's Malcolm Merlin, because Malcolm's the Dark Archer. Because when he was in the facility, he saw the Dark Archer, and he's just like, Malcolm Merlin's the Dark Archer. So they're just like, how do you know? He's like, trust me, it's Malcolm Merlin. So he's coming up with a plan to roll up on Malcolm Merlin, try to get this dwarf star. Because Queen Merlin was attacked, Myra's whole thing is like, she doesn't feel safe. She doesn't, she just got Oliver back. She doesn't want to lose him, so she hires John Diggle to become Oliver's bodyguard. The two of them, it's the classic repeat of the pilot. Diggle and Oliver in the car. Oliver tries to slip out of the car like he escaped him the entire season 1. The door is locked, and then Diggle's like, yeah, fool me twice. Shame on me. And then come to find out, this isn't Earth 2 Diggle. This is actual Diggle. This is John Diggle. He said that, Felicity found out where he was. And then he went to Cisco. He got the transporter device. Diggle went to Earth 2 basically to help out Oliver, which is really cool because it gives David Ramsey a reason to be on the show this season. Because the show started with the two of them. Actually it started with the two of them and Laurel. So to have Diggle on this journey with him is is really cool. But Oliver being Oliver, he's just like, listen, I don't want to get you involved. He tells Diggle about the crisis, and then Diggle's like, but I'm still gonna watch your back. They end up going to Tommy's club. Tommy owns a club called Verdant. So that's not where his club isn't the cover for like their secret base, but well, actually maybe it is. Hell, because we later find out, after Oliver gives Diggle the slip for the second time, because Diggle gave Oliver the speech like, we're brothers and I'm not going to let you do this yourself. He gives him the handshake, and then Oliver puts him in the choke, knocks him out, and he told him, he was like, you always fall for this move, bro. And then he goes after Malcolm Merlin. When he busts through Malcolm's office the same way he did to his mom in season 1. Only this time he didn't get shot. And when he busts through, the Dark Archer shows up. And, Oliver fights the Dark Archer. He beats the Dark Archer, which is crazy. And then he takes the mask off, and then he finds out that it's Tommy. And Tommy escapes. So, for all we know, Club Verdant, maybe Tommy does have his secret evil base, like, underneath the club. They never said that, but, one can only imagine. So now Oliver's like freaking out because he's just like, like it's freaking Tommy. So he decides that, what, he's gonna roll up on Tommy and, and try to get some answers. He follows Tommy into a parking lot and then gets shot. And, like the two of them have like a little conversation. He's just like, what are you doing walking around in a green hood? He's like, well, what are you doing walking around in a black one? And then the two of them have a standoff. And then Renee shoots Oliver in the neck and knocks him out because on Earth 2, Renee and Dinah are working for Tommy. So, like they're the bad guys. They have Oliver chained up in the old warehouse just like they did in season 1. Only this time he had a shirt on. They had him hanging from the ceiling. They were torturing him, and then Tommy was basically just saying that, what happened to Thea was a tragedy and he wants to get revenge. And then it hit Oliver. He was just like, bro, like, you're doing your own undertaking. You're trying to get revenge for Thea. You're going to kill the Glades. You're going to use an earthquake machine to level the Glades to get revenge for Thea. The same way how Malcolm Merlin in season 1, he wanted to level the Glades to get revenge for the Glades for killing his wife. So we've definitely come full circle. Tommy's surprised that Oliver picked that up so quickly, but he tried to tell him, he's like, listen, this isn't you, like, you could do better. And he's like, no, I think I'm going to kill people, and I'm out. So Oliver's chained up. Diggle shows up, he frees him. He told him, he was just like, we put a tracker in your boot because you got a history of giving people the slip. And then, he goes to Laurel, he goes to Adrian, and he's just like, Tommy Merlin is the Dark Archer. He's got an earthquake machine. All 4 of them, they're just like, all right, let's stop him. They do the whole double suit up, which was awkward. And then Diggle, Laurel, Oliver, and Adrian, they go after the earthquake device and Tommy Merlin. Tommy and Oliver have their final battle on top of the roof, the same way how Malcolm and Oliver had theirs. Oliver ends up on the way up the stairs. Oliver fought Dinah and he fought Renee. He beat them pretty easily, and then he was just like, on my Earth, you two had a better teacher. And it's crazy because as cool as the fight scene was between Oliver and Tommy, Oliver whooped Tommy's ass when he was in Malcolm's office. He whooped his ass I was just like, Tommy's not that good at being like Tommy. Like, where did he get his skill? Like, did he go to Nanda Parbat? Like, did he just go to like the local YMCA? Like Tommy's not that good, and the people that and Dinah and Renee they're not like Earth 2 people aren't great fighters. so he defeats them, gives Oliver the speech. Not gives Oliver the speech. Oliver gives Tommy the speech about how be a better person, be the person I know you could be. Tommy's like, yeah, you're right, that was a great speech, and he turns off the device. They got him in police custody. Dinah's in police custody. Renee's in police custody. Oliver and Tommy have a heartfelt conversation. Myra and Malcolm show up. Oliver asks to speak to his mom. He talks to his mom. He tells his mom goodbye. He actually, gets to tell her goodbye because he didn't get to tell his mom goodbye. In season 1, he told his mom goodbye, and the mom was like, well, sure, I'll see you at the house. And he's just like, yeah, whatever, I'm out. So they got the Dwarf Star. Oliver tells Adrian Chase, he's just like, listen, if you're going to go around wearing that, he's like, because Chase figured it out. After a while, Chase was like, you're from a parallel Earth. And he was like, yeah. And bro, if you're going to be the Hood, he's like, you should probably change it to the Green Arrow. That's just my advice. So, he says goodbye to his mom. And then after that, Laurel comes busting into the precinct, and then she's just like, oh, the city's under attack. And he's like, under attack by what? And then, this red light comes in, and it starts disintegrating everybody. And then, Diggle uses the transporter device. Oliver, Laurel, and Diggle, they all jump in, and Earth 2 disappears. So Earth 2 is now destroyed, which is kind of depressing because that means they killed Earth 2 Iris West, and that was a fine Earth 2 Iris West. Earth 2 Iris West. That was my chick. So so Earth 2's gone. Everyone's dead, and now Laurel, Diggle, and Oliver are Earth hopping throughout the galaxy. For the flash forwards, we have the new OTA original, the new original Team Arrow, which is based on Zoe, Bronze Tiger's son, Mia, and William. William is the Felicity, Mia is the Oliver. I guess that would, Bronze Tiger's son, I guess he would be the Diggle, and Zoe, she's the Canary. The 4 of them are basically trying to take down like an organization that's trying to stop, because now that the wall came down, they're trying to rebuild the Glades. They're trying to bring the city back together. They're trying to revive Star City, and there's an organization that's trying to prevent that, which is the Deathstroke gang, which is led by John Diggle Jr., which is John Diggle's actual son. Because remember, John and Lyra took took Connor. They're calling him Connor. Lyra and John took Connor in, I guess, after Bronze Tiger. Bronze Tiger's gonna die at some point this season. So, I mean, we just got to accept that. I mean, I'd like to see how it happens, but Bronze Tiger is not gonna make it to the end of this season, which is why Diggle ends up. He's probably gonna save Diggle's life, which is why Diggle ends up taking him in. So, so they're trying to take down this organization that's led by John Diggle Jr. The boy is completely jaded. Like, he's like, how does the son of John Diggle and Lyra Michaels become like a villain? And then I'd like to know why he's wearing the Deathstroke. Because see, that's another thing. Whatever his reasons are for being a villain, fine. I get that. What I'd like to know is, why is he specifically wearing the Deathstroke mask? There has to be a reason why he chose the Deathstroke mask. But anyway, so, they try to go after him. They get their butts kicked. There's a little deception among the new Team Arrow because Mia's not really a team player. Like, William's trying to figure the whole thing out. William's trying to figure out how to be the Felicity of the group. Connor, he's had military training and he knows tactics, whatever. He does security. Zoe was trained by, the Canaries, like every canary under the sun. But Mia's like, she's like the outside person. So to her, the whole team concept is kind of like lost on her. So she goes rogue a lot. They convince her to let Connor lead a mission. He leads the mission. Mia gets beat up by I don't know, are we calling him Deathstroke? Like, I don't know. Mia gets beat up by John Diggle Jr. in the Deathstroke costume, and then she's just like, listen, from now on we're doing things my way. So we'll see what her way is in the next episode. So that was it. Good start. Good start. A lot of Easter eggs, a lot of callbacks. Episode 1's in the books, and like I said, I'm here for the entire Arrow journey. We're gonna ride this wave all the way to the end, because Arrow is actually my favorite show out of all superhero shows. So thanks for tuning in, guys. Got a whole list of DC reactions, reviews for all DC TV shows. Flash, Supergirl, Batwoman, Arrow, Black Lightning, Titans, like Legends of Tomorrow when that finally starts. So we're gonna do all that. Thanks for tuning in. Until next time, I'm out.